Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Middle Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Spyderco Bombshell, or Spider Pickle, or Pickle Bomb, or Spyderco Pickle Knife, or whatever you want to call that. The folks on my Discord had a heyday with that. It does look like a pickle. Absolutely. This is based on, Michael Burt's design, collaboration with Michael Burt's, based on the custom Bombshell. This is, the release of this knife was something called a flash batch through Spyderco. What does that mean? It means that, you know, it got hyped up and it's limited production, and people were like, oh, gotta have it, and then they were gone, like, you know, really, really fast. And the implication here is that this is something that will likely continue to happen with Spyderco. I'm not, you know, on one side of it, I understand, you know, getting your hands on something that's premium and limited and, you know, pride of ownership and all that. On the other hand, kind of sucks for people who really want it and can't get it because it was limited and have to turn to the secondary market, where these inevitably will have their prices jacked up. The only way you can combat this, don't go on the secondary market and pay too much money for it. Just want to point that out real quick. I will link the original listing of this knife down in the description so you can check it out for yourself, as well as Spyderco knives in general for people who want to check that out. I'm going to alter my background here just a little bit. And there we go. Let's go ahead and do, oh, this was sent to me, did I mention? It was sent by Frank. Frank, thanks so much for sending this. It's because of people like Frank that I'm able to bring you guys daily content. It's also because of my generous patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, get your hands on some of these cool stickers and some other benefits, there's of course a link down in the description. Your support would mean the world to me. And follow me on Instagram. All right, let's do some size comparisons. So up against the Ontario Rat Model 1. Rat 1 is coming in at 8.6 inches overall. So this is a chunky knife, but it's not a huge knife. You know what I mean? It's not a long knife. It's kind of a stubby, chunky little pickle knife. Up against the Spyderco PM2. Spyderco PM2 is coming in at 8.3 inches overall. How about up against the Benchmade Reptilian, or in this case the Ritter Hogue? Ritter Hogue is coming in at 8 inches overall. And last but not least, the Spyderco Para 3. Spyderco Para 3 is coming in at 7.25 inches overall. This is a great size comparison. These two are very close. I feel like very, very similar. In fact, let's go ahead and measure it because we didn't do that. Overall length of Spyderco Bombshell coming in at just a hair over 7 inches, maybe right at 7 inches. Blade length is 3 inches. I mean, it's not under, it's definitely right at 3 inches, so be careful about that. And then cutting edge is coming in at about 2.75 inches, something like that. All right, how's the action on this guy? This is running on washers. Taichung, Taiwan, by the way. So fit and finish is excellent. I'll go ahead and give you guys a look there. Taichung, Taiwan. Very, very, very good fit and finish. The action is snappy and it is easy to manipulate. Not quite as easy as something like the Spyderco PM2. But they managed to make that hole fully accessible. Definitely for the thumb flick, if you just want to wheel it out. And then for the reverse flick, same thing, you can definitely do that. The washers are smooth, the detent is a little bit clicky, so that's nice. Sounds good, feels good, easy to manipulate. I've got no issues with the action whatsoever. I like washers. If they can get them nice and smooth, that's great. Then you can enjoy the smoothness, right? This isn't quite a fall shut knife, but you can sort of wiggle it shut. That's nice. About generally the best you can hope for washers in this price range. But the debris stays out of the inside of your pivot. That's a much more durable setup than bearings, so I applaud that. Let's go ahead and do the hardware check. Get out my handy-dandy WIA bit selector and WIA magnetic driver, two items that are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them down on the bottom of my description. T8 on the pivot is undoubtedly the size that we're working with. T8... right there. You have to excuse my thumb. I got bit by one of my hinders the other night. And body screw. Well, these are the scale screws. Are going to be T6. Now, underneath here, let's go ahead and check that. Yeah, T6. Pocket clip screws are also going to be T6. Underneath here, there's undoubtedly some additional screws holding in the backspacer. I'm going to guess that those are T6 as well. In any case, the fact that there are T6 on the handle, at least the part of the scales, warrants this. I don't like T6. I wish everything was T8, but whatever. It's not a deal breaker. Just be careful if you're going to disassemble the knife because the heads can strip. Let's go ahead and talk about carry profile. So thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. This is a thick boy. That's a thick boy. We've got some contouring there on the scales, which is nice. You know, I've always said I'll take some excess thickness if I get some contouring. If it's not contoured, it's too blocky, and I don't like that. But yeah, it's definitely thick, right? Up against the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3, two knives that have unquestionably awkward carry profiles. Nobody ever complains about. You can see there at maximum height that might be in places. Yeah, like right there. It's about the tallest point, but it's still not quite as tall. Worst case scenario, same maximum height, probably not. It's definitely shorter, but it's definitely thicker. So if you wear skinny jeans, if you wear athletic shorts, this is not going to be something that you're really going to enjoy carrying. It's going to feel kind of like a mass, right? But it's not super long, and the overall shape of it is not, it doesn't have a flipper tab or any crazy things hanging off of it. So it's not that big of a deal. If you're used to carrying larger knives or thicker knives, you know, in general, this isn't excessively thick. It definitely is thicker than the PM2 and Para 3, but, you know, it's kind of, you know, use your best judgment. The liners are titanium. So this is G10. I'm looking for that godforsaken flashlight. There it is. Titanium liners that have a little bit of milling on the inside there. And we've got a fairly thick blade stock. I'm going to guess the blade stock on this guy is at least 155 thousandths. This is a chunky boy for sure. Let's take a look here. Yeah, on the money, 155 thousandths. So we're talking about like ZT0562 thickness here for sure. I feel like maybe the Spyderco Techno's in the same realm. This feels like it's going to weigh about 4.5 ounces. Let's find out. Oh my gosh, I'm so smart. I'm sure people like, you waited before you did the review. No, I try to guess. If you go back and watch my other reviews, I usually try to guess. 4.5 ounces, right? If you go by the whole ounce and inch thing, you're not going to like that, right? I care more about the profile. I don't care so much about the ratios. Is it comfortable? Does it work with the pants that I generally wear? And does it fit within my range of preferred weight, which is about 4 to 6.5 ounces? The answer is yes to all three. So cater that to, you know, how it works out with you. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic here. This definitely looks like a pickle. This looks like a whole dill pickle. It's funny. I mean, even in another color, it would still remind me of a pickle, but they chose the exact shade of pickle green. That's okay, you know, there's nothing wrong. It's not my favorite color of G10. You know, I would have preferred this in just a regular black G10 or, you know, gray G10. Forest green would have been great. I like the darker greens better, but okay, this is in olive drab green. That's fine. It is what it is. You're either gonna like the color or you're not. Boy, this is smooth all the way around. No hint of any sharp or uncomfortable edge. And truthfully, this is only a 3-finger position knife, which is the only thing that I personally am going to complain about in terms of ergonomics. I just personally don't like knives that I can't get a full grip on. And you can choke up a little bit. This isn't a forward choil though, so I guess you can cheat it 4-finger. It's all right. As far as 3-finger position knives go, this is very comfortable. It is exceedingly comfortable. The pocket clip is not a hot spot thanks to the fact that that bill doesn't rise up too much. Yeah, it's super comfortable. No jimping back here, right? All these areas, even these, you know, in some knives, you know, areas that might be a little bit pointy. No, it's fine. The access to the lock bar is nice, and there's a little spot right there where it catches your finger. No double clutch. Easy. I mean, as far as like flipping this thing over and over and over again, yeah, there's definitely some fidget factor here. I mean, it's nice and smooth. Do the reverse flick. I think you can probably even do the whole, yeah, Spidey thing. It's fine. No issues there. I like the domed hardware. It's simple, right? We see that a lot from the Taichung Taiwan factory. So this has got this kind of dark acid washed tumbled blade, or acid stone wash, whatever you want to call that. Looks like concrete. Very well done. This is CPM 20 CV. I don't see that a lot from the Taichung Taiwan factory. We see a lot of S90V. We see a lot of CTSX HP. 20 CV, great. You know, a lot of people like it. It's got excellent corrosion resistance, excellent edge retention. This is a thick blade. I do not know what we call this blade shape. It looks like a dodo bird. Absolutely. You have this area up here where you can definitely rest your thumb. And this makes me want a forward choil. Honestly, if this had a forward choil, I really would have been happy with this. This whole area right here, this flat area, could have easily been turned into a forward choil. And I think they really wouldn't have had to sacrifice much of that blade. It would also solve the issue, some people view it as an issue, of the fact that this does not have a sharpening choil. So that's going to get weird over time. I would have liked that a lot. It's not the biggest deal that it doesn't have it, but it really would have counted for extra points in my book because of, you know, what I prefer in terms of ergonomics. But okay, it is what it is. Enormous flat. It's about 40% the height of the blade, carrying out about 90% the length of the blade. Yeah, in terms of durability out here at the tip, this is not a tip that's likely to snap. Down here we do have a hollow ground. It is hollow ground. Down behind the edge, I mean, it does drop, you know, quickly and aggressively. It is somewhat thin down. It's honestly surprisingly thin down there at the edge, but this is a blade that for the most part is going to emphasize overall durability above everything else. The edge definitely is sharp, but as you push this blade through things, you know, the fact that it's got to aggressively come up to this flat, and, you know, we're looking at a pretty thick blade. It's not going to be, like, if you're looking for something to, you know, efficiently break down cardboard boxes, this probably isn't going to be the right tool. But it is a versatile blade, and it is, you know, in terms of everything you could conceivably throw at a pocket knife. It is definitely a durable blade shape, which is nice because CPM 20CV is not a steel that is overly durable, right? Geometry in some ways can help that, but you know, it just depends on what you're doing, what you're cutting. It's interesting though, and there's a lot of extra belly here, so as you draw this blade through material, you know, in some situations it is going to cut okay, so that's nice. The blade itself, you know, as far as like all the edges and things, is nice and knocked down because it's tumbled. The edge is done well, nice and sharp, nice and glassy smooth, right? Nothing wonky, looks great. No issues there. Also appreciate the tumbling because that hole has been knocked down. All the nice little edges, or all the little edges are knocked down versus some of the satin finished blades from Spyderco, so I appreciate that. Moving down here, there is of course a lanyard hole, which is out of the way and not being emphasized, you know, or not being prioritized over the clip, so that's fine. Back here we have a G10 backspacer that is in between the pretty thick titanium liners, and then we've got the G10 on the outside. That looks nice. Don't have a problem with that. I like backspacers, so that's nice. Stop pin, we didn't talk about that. I don't think, is there any shouldering? I didn't look. No shouldering, but that's fine. No big deal. Actually, you know what? Let me look inside here. I feel like I remember when I unboxed it. Is there a lock bar insert? Let me look in my light. Boy, guys, I don't think there is. No. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I can't remember. There was one that I was surprised by, and this wasn't it. Anyways, the pocket clip certainly does go with the design. It reminds me a lot of the pocket clip on the full-size Wayfarer from Willamette Cutlery. It looks good with the knife, and it functions. I don't... me personally, aesthetically, you know, as far as just the clip goes, I don't like the curvature, but I mean, I gotta admit, in terms of function, like this thing going in and out of the pocket, it's real easy. There's not a lot of the knife sticking up out of your pocket. I mean, it's just that much, you know, call it what you will. I wouldn't call it shallow carry. It's definitely not deep carry. Clip has plenty of retention. This is a titanium clip as far as I know. In fact, we can test that real quick if I can find that magnetic angle square. Ooh, actually, no, I'm wrong about that. Clip is steel. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, just making sure that's put back. Steel pocket clip. That's okay. No big deal. But yeah, the pocket clip functions just fine, and it's not. I mean, it's not a clip that sticks up a lot, so it's not creating a hot spot. I mean, and you know, in terms of utility and just comfort, that clip is doing its job. It goes with the design, so that's fine. I really like titanium liner locks. I'm kind of preferring this setup over an exposed frame lock because it means you don't have to worry about where your hands are on the other side. You can't put unnecessary pressure on the lock bar because it's covered by the scale, right? This has as much surface contact as some titanium frame locks, so it's arguably going to be about as strong. All titanium frame locks or liner locks or steel, whatever, they're all only as strong as the relief cut, so it's probably trivial anyway. I just really like this setup. It's nice. It's a carbonized titanium lock face. So you don't necessarily need a steel lock bar insert. You don't need an over travel stop because the scale or the overlay, whatever you want to call that, acts as the over travel stop. You can see here that we're locking up at 65% or so, and the centering on this guy is perfect because we're looking at a Taichung Taiwan Spyderco, so it should be. And again, centering on all knives should be perfect, but I guess we can't always get what we want, even here in 2020. Lockup is absolutely solid. I said that like it was about the bomb. I'm complaining about other knives. The Bombshell is totally solid and centered and all that. It's everything that you would expect, you know, for this kind of money. Lockup is absolutely solid. Up, down, left, or right, no play whatsoever. So what are the little things that I can complain about? It's a 3-finger position knife. It definitely looks like a pickle and it's OD green. That's a personal thing. There's no sharpening choil, and really I don't care so much about that. I just wanted a full finger choil because that would have solved my issue there, and they wouldn't have sacrificed too much of the blade. Some people are going to love the blade, some people are going to hate it. Pocket clip isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it does go along with a knife, and it does function, so I can't really complain about anything there. It's a thick knife. It's not too thick for me, but it's definitely going to be too thick for some people. It's kind of a stubby knife, right? Really, there's not a lot to complain here, to complain about here about the design. Honestly, I really like this design. I do. In fact, if it had a forward choil, I'd be just, you know, I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. You know, this is pretty good. The thing that bothers me is they did the flash batch thing, right? They're like, here it is, get it. You know, and people, oh, I gotta buy it, right? Now people have it. Now, if you want to buy it, you gotta pay too much money for it in the secondary market. We're gonna see more of that, not just from Spyderco. We already see it from a lot of companies, right? Whether or not something is limited edition or flash batch or whatever, it's not going to stop me from showing it on the channel. I'll use it as an opportunity to talk about it. I wish they would just make more of these and make them available. You know, like I kind of understand the idea behind, if you're going to do like a quick run of something, make it available again at some point. And maybe they will make this available again. Maybe they'll do different colors. And I think I like that idea better, right? Sometimes it has to do with whether or not the maker has the time, and you know, a lot of times, you know, I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into it in terms of you know, on the designer's end, you know, exactly how many that they can make. You know, it depends on the circumstance, right? So I don't know the details on that, so I can't really comment on it. If they just did so many of these and they're like, that's it, they're gone, you can never get them anymore, then that kind of sucks, because this is a good design, right? If they keep doing them, then great, you know? There is a little bit of that whole FOMO thing going on where they are like, don't miss out on it, here it is. It kind of doesn't leave people a lot of time to figure out whether or not they really even want it, right? I can confidently say this is a good knife. This is a well-designed knife. It's cool, it's interesting. They're not reinventing the wheel with a titanium frame lock and some contoured scales, but the ultimate, you know, the final form that this takes it's nice, it's cool, you know? I like it. I like a chunky little knife, especially if it's easy to manipulate, and that's the thing here. The fact that it's on washers, you know, and just the overall setup, the overall build tells me that this is a knife that's gonna last for a long time, right? I don't know that 20 CV would have been my choice, but I know that's going to make a lot of people happy. Price tag on this guy was between $270 and $280. That's a lot of money. I'm kind of feeling the same way about the swayback, right? This feels more 240ish to me, but you know, it's just a gut feeling thing. You know, it was one of those things where I looked up the price and I was like, there's a lot of other really great knives you can get between $250 and $300. To some people, that's going to feel more justified. To some people, it's going to be less. For me, it felt like kind of a bee sting. You know, it's just you know, I don't know. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about this. Should you rush out and buy this on the secondary market for 50% markup? You know, or God forbid it goes the way of the Sleesh Bowie, and we're looking at 250%. No, don't do that. Spyderco's got plenty of sprints and flash batches and all this stuff planned. Save your money, wait. See if you can snag one, you know, in the next release. If you're new to my channel, I periodically try to let people know when new things are coming out. I don't catch everything, not by a long shot, but I do try to inform people and help people get their hands on the stuff that they want. This is a good knife. Overall, yeah, this is great. This is a knife that I can recommend as far as the design goes, but just understand what I'm saying here is I'm going to put this in my Spyderco Knives playlist and my most recommended knives playlist because I like the design. The design itself is a recommendable design. It is not recommended that you rush out and pay too much money for it. But if they do another run of these, right, or something similar, you know, maybe the same design with a different steel, different finish, and a different color scale, you know, is it recommendable? Yeah, definitely. If you can get your hands on it, then go for it. Guys, I think that's going to be pretty much it for today. This was an interesting one. Follow me on Instagram if you are not following me. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that metal complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.